So my friend who was a victim of cybercrime, she is kind of turning that attack on her, on herself, by reacting instantly. You may say, oh, it's human beings, we react like that, we can't help it. Yeah, but the wisdom is that really needed? Do we have to react emotionally and then really drain ourselves and not able to deal with the situation? Or you can be cool because you have been practicing deep breathing, you have been practicing non-reactiveness during the day and all that. Because I was telling you in the morning report, right? Morning routine. So you have been trained yourself not to go into immediate mental reaction, which is stressful, which is sometimes give you some energy to deal with it. But many people, they kind of allow themselves to be completely depleted. So my thing is, let the outward things come to you, then be stable in the mind and act what is needed for the situation, right? So that is responding without the emotional reaction. This is a stress handling measure I teach actively to the physicians, to the nurses, to other people of the healthcare, because they have been reacting for every small thing, big thing the same way, and they never learned the skill of not reacting but responding. People are encouraged to be passionate, people are encouraged to be go big on that, but if you have a bigger goal in your life, it's like you're serving the Lord in whatever you do, that kind of thing, then you don't have to be passionate, but you can be committed to the bigger cause. Then you don't work with the emotions, hormones, stress, burnout, and all that. Rather, you would be really responding to a situation with a steady mind. Remember, that is the formula which I advocate, because you can watch your reactions the moment you are away from them, a little distance from them. And also, if you allow your deep breathing work for you, it will inculcate the bigger, higher intellect. They call it buddhi in Sanskrit in ancient times. Now we call it the, the cortex, okay, rather than the limbic system. Okay, so once you have that, then you will be much better off dealing with situations by responding to them without the emotional reactions. Okay, uh, this is something people forgot about it, and they immediately react and they say, "Oh, I'm human. That's why I'm fearful. I'm anxious. I'm reacting like that." We question that now in stress relieving activities that we teach people. I can be calm and quiet, which was not there before. So I cultivate deep breathing every day. That way I can stimulate my parasympathetic nervous system, and that takes over. And it doesn't allow the sympathetic nervous system take over. See, what is happening is people may be worrying about something negative happening to them. People may be worrying about some danger happening to them because of the consequence. And whatever the reason it is, they immediately react. And that is what is happening all through the day for doctors at least. They are threatened for their license, they're threatened for their compensation, they're threatened for their fame and name. Oh, so many ways they can imagine anything small happens is a threat to their inner self, and it's major things in life. So lots of times they order tests because they want to defend themselves. Lots of times they kind of don't want to give everything because that may incriminate them. So any number of reasons they imagine dangers. I'm sure the same way with a lot of other professions too. But since I kind of help physicians to not to go into the burnout or stress, and I kind of give them uh, cultivate deep breathing as a regular practice. Do it a good 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, And also every 1 hour, 1 minute. Just go to the bathroom or go to your favorite corner, wherever it is. Sit down and take deep breaths for 1 minute, one lousy minute. And then they do that, and then they will inculcate coming back to their presence. You know, uh, uh, it's a kind of important things. That you have to understand. Once you understand, okay, I'm inculcating my higher intellect, which discriminates what is real danger, what is not. Then progressively you will be seeing a lot of things. They're all small stuff, and everything is a small stuff, and you don't have to sweat it. Don't sweat the small stuff, and everything is small stuff. Remember that. I used to tell to people all the time. Every, so once you know your major things are in place and you have small things that are going out of whack, but you are not exerting yourself with stress and burnout. Okay. So what I told my friend who is a cybercrime victim is to calm down and take deep breath, and also really remember what I told you about the two arrow theory. What is the two arrow theory? Buddha stated this. Somebody asked him, look, you came out of the palace because you want to find answers for suffering, disease, old age, death, and all that, right? What did you do all these years? At the age of 85, you are going to die. You have diabetes, and you have a disease. You have the old age, and you're going to die too. So then he said, look, what I found out was there are so many arrows come to us in the form of disappointment, failure, or accident, or disease, and so many things, right? But what I do with that arrow, how do I respond to that? That is what I'm talking about. So I cannot help with this first arrow coming. It will come. Anybody living, anybody is who are going to such an age, they will have this. But how I choose to respond depends upon if I make my reaction as a second arrow and then go on munching on it, go on feeling bad about it, then uh, I'm not engaging the prefrontal cortex, PFC, but I'm really yielding to the limbic system of reaction, hormone secretion, and further neurohumoral response and all. So it has become a unaware practice to many people just to really react. Okay, that's what I was questioning. Here, she lost the money. She has to go to the bank and complain. She has to go to the police and complain, and she has to keep steady in that. And luckily, I was able to see her, my point, and she got into that non reactive responding mode, and she was able to do what is needed. And also, she realized she trusted somebody on the phone and gave them all the details. And were vulnerable. I did things like that too. People called me locking my computer and made me, spend money when I was in the practice. Because I can't to stay without the computer because so many patients are coming. So I had to relieve it. So I paid the money and then got it. Then I realized this is all a scam. And later on, I kind of wised up, and the same thing came a couple of times. I kind of resisted that. But what I'm talking about is these things are developing. As we develop high technology, we also give this technology to people who can misuse it. Uh, any number of things can happen. Probably they will go more and more and more. Okay, so you got to be aware of what's going on, but it's not. So that's how I handle that with my friend, and that's what I would recommend for anybody. Okay, that way we'll be able to really handle things in a much more stable way. And if you are worried, if you are really, you know, at this uh, problem, then cultivate deep breath. You not only at the situation, that's also okay, but also daily see the value of it. See, when I looked at the ancient yogic way of life, what they did was they were able to uh, walk a lot, Okay, and they were able to sip water because they always carried a bottle of water or container with a little water, and they were sipping that all day. But one thing they consistently tried to do was, as much as possible, deep breath. Okay, you cultivate that. Okay, like my son, I told him, okay, you're going to work, you're going somewhere, you're always driving the car, right? And then you stop in front of the many red lights, at least 5 or 6 of them every day, right? He said maybe 10 of them. So if you are stopped and then at that time, plan to clone it. Clone it toward red light. I stopped. I have time for 1 minute. I will be waiting here. Then I'm going to do the deep breathing, sitting straight and taking deep breath through the nose and then letting it out. Even if you hold it for a few seconds, that's good too. Simple. Do that every day. Like the doctors, I tell them every first in the morning, do 5-15 minutes of deep breathing exercises. When they follow with me, they do 8 or 10 different types of deep breathing exercises with me because I do them with them. So then, when you go to work, every 1 hour, remember just to take a break and take a break from the continuous thought and come to the present moment and take deep breaths. The purpose is not only take the deep breath to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, but also break that train of thought continuously going. Okay, so maybe you're working for 6 hours, maybe a couple of times or 3 times is enough, if not every hour. If you are working 7 hours, maybe 5 times. Okay, something like that. And then when you are done with your work and all that, come back and take some time for yourself, 5 to 15 minutes, do the deep breathing. If you do that every day, no cost, easy, you can do anytime, then you will help yourself a lot about not reacting if something happens right away, but responding with prefrontal cortex, which discriminates the higher intellect. So, makes sense? So, this is something anybody can adopt and do it. Okay. So, I would urge you to do it. Okay. This cybercrime is happening also. We don't keep up with what are the technology that is produced with the intent of doing good for the people, right? But the same sword that can be used for cutting vegetables and all that can use as a instrument of killing, right? So the same technology that is useful for us, some nefarious characters are using for cybercrime. So being aware of it, what's going on, like for example, somebody is telling me, oh, I have $50,000 approved for you for credit or loan, whatever. I never ask anybody for the loan, and they're sending me all these things, right? And because I'm 70, probably they think this old man doesn't know anything. Let's do this. I don't even respond to them because I'm aware of what is going on in the world, what's going on with the technology, what is going on with the misuse of technology. Once I'm aware, like my friend, if she was aware, she would have given any information for him. Because if he is calling from the bank, I already gave to the bank. Why he should call? So they can fiend, right? So like the bank with all sorts of things there. So that is one thing. Being aware of what's going on in the world, what is that's why I'm in very much touch with the current affairs. What's going on in the economy, what's going on in the Washington D.C. with the policy, what's going on with the advancement of technologies, what's going on with all the stress and strain that's going on in the world. All that I'm aware of it just by keeping an eye on what is going on, not with the intention of participating in anything, but just for information. Are you well informed like that? Are you aware of what's going on in the world, in the on the earth, among the nations, among the politicians, among the economists, like that, So if you have an attitude about just be aware of it, then you will be able to protect yourself in these situations. If you are blindly, uh, you know, believing people who are calling you out of nowhere, then they may take advantage of you, right? So people usually learn after they are victim, but then that could be a occasion of vindication too. But generally, being aware of what's going on helps a lot. And then, if something happens, then you kind of, in the moment of weakness or whatever, you kind of yielded to their pressure and gave them all this information. Then some people sit down and say, "Oh, I'm such a stupid guy. I kind of yielded." That's okay. It's not really killing yourself. Just being a victim, don't make yourself more. We see that in the teenagers. They sit in the waiting room, waiting for me to see them, for example, and they will be talking with each other, and then they're pouring out all the problems, all the things that are there, and then they think they will be relieved of them. But then actually they feel like they feel much worse than keeping some private things private, right? So what they're doing is they're reinforcing their suffering by living through it again. If you want a suggestion, if you want to really the friend to help you, that's different. But just pouring out everything, that's not really a good idea. We see that all the time. This is how people reinforce their past experience. They ever heard somebody did something to them. That's the first arrow. But then after that, how you react, how you make the past again come again, that is the second arrow. Don't do that. That's what Buddha's great teaching is. You can have the first arrow come because you cannot help it. It will happen. Okay. But then you don't have to react and make a second arrow by yourself. And think about that. And look at the ways you react. Look at the way you activate your second arrow by yourself. Then, because you are not aware, you are allowing this to happen, that may be happening quite often and then becomes a habit. To reverse that, first slow down, first come to the present moment and ask, is it happening here to me or is it happening? Am I responding with the right things I have to do for that, or am I reacting emotionally? Okay. Most of the people react because the limbic system is like that. It is made to react to danger. So what do you feel dangers in your life? Why do you feel the small things are dangerous for you? Why don't you discover something much more deeper abundance within you? All those questions come up. Okay. Anybody has anything to say about this? Come up and tell me. Am I talking sense or am I talking something abstract? I'll be here for a few more minutes if you want to come and engage me. And then other thing was happening in my informatics field. I'm also a master's in biomedical informatics, right? So I keep up with the high technology, what's happening. It so happened Google went to India, to my state where I come from. It's called Andhra Pradesh, and it has this beautiful town, which is Visakhapatnam, they call it. It is on the coast, east coast, right? Google is committing $15 billion over the next 5-6 years to put a data center there. And I'm a data person, so I know that industry. I know what's going on, and how I should, as I'm now learning AI. I'm even today I had a second day of the conference, and tomorrow it's going to be um, uh, third day. Okay, so we are participating in that. Almost is over. That's why I was able to come here and talk to you. But I'm seriously applying myself to learn what is AI, how is it going to transform our lives, how is it going to affect human mind, consciousness, and suffering and all that. Is that going to make human suffering more or less? Is it going to be a weapon in other people who can use against other people? All those aspects I'm interested in it. And also with the AI, how can you really be well? So AI and awareness is some topic that I'm going to talk about. How can you use AI to improve human life, your life, or whatever thing you do? And how can you watch other people doing like the cyber crimes that are much more, or laying off people and all that? So we get to understand these technologies always rock the boat, and initially we'll have that imbalance. But afterwards, we will learn to adapt it and integrate it to our life, and that way we'll be better off that way. So I believe AI going to be in the long run is going to be good for us if we use it properly, if we know what we are doing and all that. Okay, so this AI hub for the data center is coming in that town in India, Andhra Pradesh, where the Andhra Pradesh state where I come from. But I come from a town called Guntur. So obviously, I'm happy that they are doing it there, and also they have so many reasons. They're going to have this underwater cables to several countries, communication. They're going to use the salt water and take the uh, salt away from the water and reuse it. And they are also addressing the enormous needs of electricity power in those data centers by focusing on the green technology, solar, wind, and other things, right? So I'm very interested in that project. And then so I have developed a program for myself. How can I, with my background of medicine, informatics, and ancient wisdom, yoga, Ayurveda, and all that, how can I help this AI influence the youth to live better, to have a better wellness? So I've developed a 5-year program for me. The way I'm going to conduct some webinars there, some books there, some courses, and also reach out to the policy makers and then give them this service. Okay, it's all just for service. Okay, so that's what I was working on last night, and I'm going to present that to you some other time. Okay. So anybody has any questions or comments or observation, you can come up and tell me before I close the room. I thought this is a very current problem. That's why I thought the cyber crime victims, they call me on and off, same story. Okay. So I thought I will present to you how I handled that lady and how she played a message back to me saying that how she was not crushed completely, and she was now able to have a steady mind and also able to respond to her crime with responsible reporting to the authorities, and also being careful next time. So hopefully everything works out for her. But at least she's not crushed by her own mind. That is what I was able to accomplish by pointing this out. And then she listened. She had been listening to me for some time. Then she listened to me and then applied that, right? So it's not my words, it is the way she should be handling herself that was shown to her, and she applied that. That's when she has the transformation. Okay. So, and anybody has any questions, you can come up. Otherwise, I'll take leave and then come back to you later. Okay. So, bye bye now. Okay. ఇప్పుడు రూమ్ కూడా చేశాను ఈ సైబర్ క్రైమ్ ఓకే మనం ట్రాక్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అని చెప్పిన అమ్మాయి నో వెయిట్